What happens when you go ahead and take 8 of the absolute best professional wrestlers in a company, stick them in a giant-ass cage, and let them go at each other in a fight to end all fights? You're going to find out when you stick around on tonight's episode of Ring Respect Radio. Boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, Munson, it is Thursday again, and I'm pumped to be here on Ring Respect Radio. Another great episode with the Video Bros. Man, how are you feeling tonight? We got some awesome wrestling to review here tonight.
Oh, do we ever, Papa Smokes? We've been saying it for weeks. As soon as it became available, we're going to be talking about SPW's Halloween Haunting, so we will be getting to that in a very short period of time. There are a few things we will go over first, like talking to our chat, starting off with Zach Minger, saying it's World Kindness Day and National Gratitude Month.
Wow. That's a switch from Zach's usual days of the month or days of the year. They usually revolve around food, but this one's kindness and gratitude.
That's good. I mean, we're on Ring Respect Radio. I agree with this. Kindness Day and National Gratitude Month. Thank you, Zach. There we go. I like it. That felt good. And we got our boy Basser up in the house. Happy Thursday, Basser. How you doing, brother? You know, Basser went and did a smart thing, Papa Smokes, and I got to tell you what Basser did. He contacted Prairie Pro Wrestling as soon as tickets went on sale for Saturday, December the 6th, as Seasons Beatings is coming up, because I know Bass Jr., and good old Uncle Basser are not going to want to miss all the action coming at you from Prairie Pro Wrestling's Seasons Beatings. Tickets are on sale. You can get your seats now. Message us on social media to reserve your seats to what will be Prairie Pro Wrestling's final show of 2025. And I'm going to say it right now, Papa Smokes. While I don't know what the card is, I have a feeling that you're not going to want to miss this particular event. And that is not a prediction. That, my friend, is a spoiler.
No, absolutely. And for as huge as Ring of Horrors is every year, everybody knows that's PPW's WrestleMania, so to speak, the big show of the year. That Christmas show always ends up being a significant show in PPW. That is one that you don't want to miss. That is usually one of the special shows of the year.
It's going to be fantastic. Get your tickets today. Reach out to us. And we got the Mangler up in the house saying, what up, guys? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, too, as well, my friend. And loving the shirt, Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, explain said shirt you were showing me a little bit ago before we went live on the air, but let our audience know about that shirt.
Oh, this is a magnificent long-sleeve wrestling shirt featuring one of my favorites among wrestlers, Bull Nakano, Japanese superstar from the 80s and 90s. And oh yeah, wearing it with pride on Ring Respect Radio, baby.
Absolutely fantastic shirt there. Love it. I don't know if you can tell, Pop Smokes, but with PPW coming up and all the fun that's in the air and Halloween Haunting that we got to do with SPW, I'm in all kinds of great mood here tonight. I'm excited. I can't wait to start talking about our friends over in New Zealand who it feels like so long, even though we did IPW not too long ago, it feels like it's just been that long. And I looked it up and it's been a good 8 weeks or so, if not a 9-week gap. This is the last time we got to speak about SPW.
Well, I'm going to start losing my Kiwi accent pretty soon here, Munson. I love doing the New Zealand shows, and I love connecting with our guys down under, down in across the ditch, as they like to say, down in New Zealand. There, we've made some friends, and I love covering SPW and IPW, and a couple of the promotions we've done in Australia as well. But back to New Zealand for more. Back to Invercargill, even more specifically. Love this. Love watching these shows and researching these shows. Always a good time.
Well, with that being said, right there, Papa Smoke. Speaking of Invercargill, why don't you give some? I know some of our guests here tonight already have heard this said on our previous shows about SPW, but for those maybe tuning in for the very first time on replay or anybody not familiar, why don't you give them a little lay of the land of our friends over on the edge of the world there and where this event took place?
Yeah, this is in Invercargill, as we mentioned. It's the southernmost city of any size on the planet. So when these guys are talking about wrestling at the edge of the world, they ain't kidding around. It is, in a way, at the edge of the world. And Invercargill is on the southern tip of the South Island of New Zealand. And it is this venue is called Corinthian Convention Center within the Invercargill Workingmen's Club. Capacity 1,000 in the main room. So the guys have lots of room to do their stuff tonight. And as we're going to see in this big main event, they need a lot of room.
Oh, yeah. Definitely needed a lot of room. It maybe start thinking about what the event we had not that long ago. We'll have our comparisons in certain ways coming up here as we get to that talk. Saying hello.
Some more room.
We definitely could have used more room. Speaking of our friends at Prairie Pro Wrestling dropping in to say what's up, guys. Yes, Prairie Pro Wrestling. Shout out to you and shout out to the upcoming show that I told people to buy tickets for. And I'll probably remind them again before the show ends here tonight. But let's go talk about SPW's Halloween Haunting, shall we, Pop Smoke? Starting with our opening match for the SPW Tag Team Championship. The surprisingly new tag team champions coming out of the Southern Rumble, King and Crosscheck, as they're being called now, going to be defending against the big man, Jamie Tagatasi and Pat Shishk. Now, this was quite a matchup because in some ways, not your traditional opening matchup that we've necessarily seen, starting with a tag title match. Okay, like it. We're getting things started there. Interesting to see how the new champions, the unexpected new champions, would go together as a tag team now in a title defense, especially against a formidable team on the other side. But a team also that comes with a bit of a burden, the knowledge that the big man, Jamie Tagatasi, is making this possibly his last appearance in an SPW New Zealand ring, as he is going to be heading over first to Australia and then going to be traveling the world to start taking his career to the next level. And I got to say, man, world, watch out. We've been talking highly about this guy for quite some time. And this is a man who I think is going to be able to go out there and show his stuff and get some attention by some of the bookers.
Oh, very much so. And as much as it sounds sad to think of Jamie Tagatasi wrestling his final matches in the New Zealand area, it's got to be a similar feeling that we have in our company up here in Canada, is that some of our greatest wrestlers, they're going to move on, right? They're going to move upward in the business. And as much as we are sad to see them go and don't want to see them go, you can't stand in the way of someone's upward success. Same thing with Jamie down here in New Zealand. He's got so much skill, so much potential, so much charisma. It just makes sense that he's going to branch out up to Australia, where wrestling is big, where there are all kinds of opportunities. And we see in North America now that there are many New Zealand and Australian wrestlers coming to great success. So Jamie wants to be the next one of those. And I tip my hat to the guy. It's got to be difficult. It's got to be scary to leave everything behind, go to a new place, try your trade amongst some of the big boys and big girls up in the U.S. and in North America. Jamie going to do that. If anyone can do it, I say he can. So let's enjoy him while we can down here in New Zealand still. He's got all his fans behind him here, and he's going to try and make a big splash before he makes the move across the pond and over to hopefully greener pastures for him.
And enjoy them we did. This was a great opening matchup. This was a great tag team matchup, not only on the side of getting to see one of the best in Jamie Tagatasi do one of his last appearances in an SPW ring, but also in general of all four gentlemen involved, including the new tag team champions, who not only came out as the shock champions, but they left as the tag team champions. The formidable tag team that now works together very well together. I saw a lot of great things from Nico, who we barely knew at the last show. This time around, coming out, really showing his stuff, really getting into it with the crowd. I got to say about his gimmick, when I first saw it last time, the whole hockey player type thing, I gave me bad thoughts of growing up as a kid and the gimmicky goon that came about in pro wrestling for a short period of time. Terrible. But then I rethought about it this time, Pop Smokes, and I see more elements of Marcus Cool in this type of gimmick is what I see. More of a hockey thug. He's not out there gimmicking it. He's got a jersey as part of his gear when he comes out. But so do, Marcus Cool has the cleats and stuff like that. So I see it more on that level. If it going forward, if it doesn't get too gimmicky and it stays at that level, I really think it could be something and something respectable that could go somewhere. And the kid's got talent. There's no doubt about that. This match went very, very well. The champions cemented their place as the tag team that they are, and this was a good way to start off the show. I like this.
Oh, very much so. And SPW ascribes to that similar booking structure that PPW and various other companies like to do about starting off hot, not putting a preliminary match with some less experienced wrestlers as the first match, but putting a hot match first to really grab that crowd. That's what they did here. The baby faces in this match, Takatahusky and Shisk, two big guys, two big, strong guys. They're going to have the crowd firmly behind them. And then the new tag team champions, we're all a little curious to see what they're like. And Nico Bell, you were talking about the whole hockey look and everything. It seems a little strange for a New Zealand wrestler to be an ice hockey guy. I'm not sure if they do play ice hockey down in New Zealand. I'm sure somebody does. But this, of course, close to my heart and close to Canadians' hearts to have a good old hockey boy with a missing tooth in there going by the name Crosscheck, which, of course, if you're Canadian or from anywhere in the world, if you play hockey, you know that the Crosscheck, one of your most useful weapons, one of your best techniques in hockey to control those forwards that come down and try and score on you. Munson, I played hockey for a long time, and that cross check into the back of a opposing player is very, very valuable. And you can see that old cross check takes that one to heart.
He sure does. Yeah, this was a great display. Saying hello back to the chat. Astrid has now joined us. Astrid, thank you for joining us here on Prairie Pro Wrestling. I was happy to join Astrid and Ed on Tuesday as they reviewed Prairie Pro Wrestling's Ring of Horrors 4. You can check out awesome. You can check out the replay now. It's there's a whole conversation going in the comment section over there about Prairie Pro Wrestling. It's being well received. I'm really happy to see it, and I was really happy to be a guest on their show that night as well too.
Same. I was so happy to see that Ed and Astrid did that podcast, giving PPW a little bit of love. It's very long too. They go into a lot of detail about everything too. And yeah, I just found it very refreshing and very useful to see the opinions of wrestling people that are on the outside of PPW that aren't involved in the whole production of the show and stuff, but fans and podcasters that watch a lot of wrestling product. I was very glad to see that they liked and appreciated the PPW product and just had that different perspective that was so interesting.
You bet. Astrid making a good joke here. The commentary, though, LOL, just kidding. We didn't have any. That's why I had to be there for it. But it'd be great if one day we can start recording live commentary or something like that. The dream has been there since the start. Hopefully, we will achieve that eventually. Maybe 2026 is our year for it. Finally, Pop Smokes. We'll have to see.
Oh, we'll see. The PPW Nation will be pouring beers down the back of our shirt and all that, unless we have a table to ourselves there.
You can't tell me that's never happened to you in your life, Papa Smokes, getting the beer poured down the back of your shirt at some point in time.
It has, but not without repercussions.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's okay. We got a whole room of wrestlers back there that can cause repercussions for people getting out of line.
Oh, I don't need that. Yeah.
I didn't say you did. I mean, we got to be on our best behavior. We'll let them be the bad guys. It's all good. But yeah, going on to our next match. Well, oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I say one more thing about this opening match?
Oh yeah.
Not only was this booked in a way that was exciting right off the bat for the fans, but I love the SPW fans. I mean, since the very first show that we ever recorded reviewed and listened to, I love that for these shows, you can always hear audio from the crowd, sometimes very, very clearly. This always delights me because there's that link between our wrestling fans up here in Canada and those New Zealand fans. They're more similar than you would think. So before the introductions, the fans were a little bit quiet after the entrances. You hear a fan clearly say, "Go for the groin." Then you hear the same guy say, "Kick him in the dick," and then somebody else says, "Too much wanking." Oh man, you knew that the fans.
Yeah, okay.
You knew that the fans were on point for this. You knew that they were going to be wild right off the bat. The introductions hadn't even been made yet, and fans are cracking up the rest of the room. The rest of the fans were laughing at these comments. That's why the crowd is important to every wrestling show, because I firmly believe they're one of the characters as well. And when they're on point, that means you're going to have a good show. And what better start could you want than this? Kick them in the groin, and they're all laughing. You know the crowd's ready for this event and this evening.
Oh, and it challenges those wrestlers too, especially the heels that aren't supposed to be cracking smiles at stuff like that, to just see how much they can stay in that zone, stay in that character, and they do an excellent job. Because I mean, it's tough. Even when we're at shows and everything, it's tough not to want to just chant right along with the PPW Nation sometimes, especially when they get some of those really good chants going. And I love that about SPW. And you're right, the fans make the show that much better. And so does the case with any indie show, I find, or any wrestling show, period. Yep. You have the right fan base at a wrestling show, it's always going to be golden.
Yeah, but when they had a hockey guy out there and then hearing those fans just sounding like our PPW Nation, it's just, oh yeah, we're all the same. It's all part of the wrestling community. I just love seeing it.
You bet, yeah. Well, speaking of that community, it also leads us to the next, we're going to call it a segment, because we've got the People's Palmer Open Challenge up next, Papa Smokes. Yes, the People's Palmer. He's no longer Professor Palmer, no other variation of Palmer that he's been before. He is now the People's Palmer, and he comes out for an open challenge. It really didn't seem like the fans wanted to get on his side right away, unlike where they've made a connection with Ryder, since Ryder has gotten himself out of the way of James Shaw, or I mean, not completely out of the way, but at least not at his side anymore. They don't seem as quick to want to grow that love for Palmer. And again, that could be a testament to just how dastardly Palmer has been since he started with SPW. But he also talks about his accolades, and he's not wrong. He has been in the corner of many greats of SPW at the same time. Many people have gone on to success with him in his corner. So this was an interesting part of the show. It was not my favorite part of the show, but it was an interesting part of the show. And considering what happened last time, Palmer needed to get something out there for him.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Palmer is you talked about some of his previous iterations. He's a slimy snake. He's not to be trusted, right? When we first started watching SPW, he was Prophet Palmer, part of the Divine Light with James Shaw, Ryder, and the guys, and he was a heel all the way through. you never even knew if he was plotting against the divine light as well. Like he was completely untrustworthy, both towards the fans and the other wrestlers, and maybe even his own guys. You were never really sure. That's how greasy this guy is. We've seen him go through a few changes. Now it looks like he kind of wants to be a good guy, right? He comes out with an impassioned speech to the fans. He's being funny. He's being charismatic and all that. But we're going to see. He's going to try and set up a match here. And we're going to see what happens with this month. And doesn't go well for Palmer.
No, it does. I mean, he hung in there for a little bit. I mean, but he's not. Again, it's kind of tough because even though, again, we know this guy has been trained, he's been around a long time, right? But he's been depicted as a sideman. He's a manager this whole time. So getting into the ring with wrestlers isn't something where you're going to have, unless you try to pull off something where he pulls off on one of those unthinkable like shock victories or something like that. You can't just immediately have Palmer going out and picking up W's in SPW.
No, definitely not. You can see that he's been trained and all that. He's a bumper. He's all the rest of it. But in this case, he gives an open challenge, and much to the fans' delight and probably Palmer's dismay, who answers that? But Ram.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those like I can't foresee them going and putting a shock win over Ram here tonight. Like Ram is going to he's going to steamroll Palmer in the end, but
Yes.
it was an interesting way to go about it. It gets Palmer back out there. What's he going to do next? He's still playing on the idea that he's a K9 guy, but does K9 need a guy? I don't really think so. I don't know that that's the right play either. I don't know what the right direction is for Palmer going forth either, kind of thing. I almost think that as much as it is fun to see him try to go this direction, I think this almost needs to be one of those ploys where he's pretending. He's really pretending. He's putting it on. He's the people's Palmer. And then he's the guy that's going to bring in the guy that snakes K9 or something like that. Like that's where this needs to lead to, in my opinion, is that he needs to be roping someone like K9 in to bring in somebody. And I almost needs to not be somebody currently on the roster. This is where you need to bring in back someone like Jay Rilla or something like that and have Big Jay Rilla with his corner man, Palmer, come in and squash the hell out of somebody like K9 and make a statement.
For sure. And clearly this segment on this card was kind of to billboard what might happen in the future in the main event that K9 will be participating in. I'm sure you did, and I'm sure the fans kind of had that little wondering idea in their mind. Is he going to come out and try and help K9 later in this main event? Don't know. I guess we'll get there tonight and we'll see, right?
We sure will, but moving on from there, we had another tag team match in the form of the Power Tools taking on the Southern Alps. And again, we saw the Southern Alps, I think, once previously as a tag team. I think, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we saw them was then they were taking on the Congress of Light, the tag team champions at the time. Since then, one of the members has been active, and I blanking on the name, and I forgot to put my notes down, so I do apologize. But there was one of them that's been out with some serious health conditions and everything like that, or it was a spine problem, was it not, Papa Smokes?
Yeah, I think it was Chalky, wasn't it?
Chalky Murdoch.
Yeah. And glad to see him back because the Southern Alps make a pretty formidable tag team. Some big boys, but Power Tools are nothing to sneer at either. And I don't think I'd seen Hammer before. Munson, did you ever get, when you were looking at Hammer, just that guy's bald head and that body that he has? He looks like Archie the Stomper Goldie, don't you think? And I mean that as a huge compliment.
Oh, yeah. No, and again, I see where you're coming from there, and I do agree with you 100%. And the Power Tools I'm familiar with because back when I was still reviewing, they became tag team champions back before lockdowns and pandemic times and all this kind of stuff. They were kind of like the it team of the time, working together to form that team. And so, it's been a lot of years, and you can tell they've they've gotten up there. They're, in fact, at one point in time, the comment is made that, we're not, or we're getting a little too old for this shit, I think was the exact words that might have been uttered, kind of thing. So that this isn't going to be a forever thing. It's not going to be a multi-time thing. This might have even just been a one-time Halloween haunting thing for that matter. But, the Power Tools, it looks like they're lined up to maybe go after the tag champs, have one match and I could see that being a great way to go, because you have the Power Tools have a great match against your current younger tag team that are the champions to put that tag team over, make them really strong. Hey, you just beat the former tag team champions, the veterans of the ring and everything. So that kind of a build leading into this whole thing, I think, is a smart move. You had both those matches on this card, and you left it with a bit of that sneak preview of what's to come, because a lot of Halloween Haunting was about finishing storylines, but there was also some new ones that came about throughout the night.
Yeah, and the kind of tag team that Power Tools is very valuable to wrestling companies because they've tagged a whole bunch in the past. They're both veteran wrestlers. So whether you want or whether you need them to take over your championship to carry the straps, they can do that. But as you said, they're very experienced and they can help put over your younger and less experienced talent. So it's a win-win situation. I'm sure SPW management is loving having Power Tools wanting to compete together again and have some more matches.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, as long as they're still able to and willing to do it, they're going to want to keep them there for a little bit, at least to continue as they, are obviously constantly bringing in new people from around New Zealand, also bringing in new people that have come up through their own trainings and stuff like that. So they are proud to bring up those new wrestlers, which is fantastic. That's how you thrive in independent wrestling. And we love seeing it too. Again, we love seeing the names we're familiar with, but we know eventually they have to usher in that next generation of wrestlers to continue the legacy of the company.
Yeah, it's all important in all walks of life, in all walks of sports. The youth is always the future. So if the veterans can help elevate the youth, educate them, season them up, and bring them along, put them over to the crowd, that's business, man. That's the way it goes in the wrestling business and in most areas of life. The veterans got to help the young people, and that's how you have a healthy business right there.
Very much so. So, yeah, looking forward to that tag team match, as I'm sure it'll be coming up soon, if not at the very next event, which I believe takes place next year. I can't remember if they said this was the final one of the year, if they're doing one in December as well, too. But stay tuned. You can always check out SPW on social media. I will do the same. Find that answer out and find out when the next SPW event is. Either way, we'll be anxiously waiting for it here on the Ring Respect Radio side. Looking forward to the next time we get to talk about them. But we got a couple of big matches to talk about now, Papa Smokes, and starting with our good friend of the channel, multi-time Ring Respect Radio guest, and the divine light himself, Mr. James Shaw, going one-on-one with Ryder. And before we talk about this match, Papa Smokes, we want to say hello to BDJ. The BDJ's in the house joining us here, saying, what's up, boys? BDJ, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you here.
Long-time Ring Respect listener and fan.
OG right there, actually, when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So going back to the match, Pop Smokes, James Shaw and Ryder, and going into this thing, I'm like, man, the momentum that this has been going on leads me to believe Ryder is coming out with the victory. As much as I love James, we appreciate him. He's a brother here to us. And again, we don't know Ryder personally. We haven't had Ryder as a guest. Ryder, if you're listening, dude, you're welcome on anytime. But going into this thing, I'm thinking like momentum-wise, booking-wise, this is going Ryder's way. We know James has never had a problem with helping get people over. Ryder really was not that popular with the fans, but suddenly he has become very popular with the fans as a result of what James helped him out with this whole feud and everything. And I thought James is the kind of guy I could see him taking an L. He'll bounce back from it. I don't think it'll hurt him or anything like that. He's dastardly enough as a heel that no matter what, he can come back at any point in time, get under the skin of the fans, and evoke reactions out of them. So that's the way I went in mentally thinking to it. And then as James was laying an absolute shit kicking on Ryder through this thing, and Ryder just could not get anything in, I'm like, are they gonna do this where James just absolutely demolishes Ryder here tonight? Like they had me guessing for a while. I'm like, could it be that James is going to end up picking up the victory and looking super strong, getting that bit of revenge for Ryder potentially costing him the SPW championship when he cashed in on Cool Guy Sky at the Southern Rumble? And then all of a sudden the tides turn and Ryder starts bouncing back, and then Palmer gets himself involved as well too, because that storyline still hasn't completely wrapped up entirely either. So Palmer making himself there, causing a distraction. Ryder gets a big victory here, big single, probably the biggest singles victory of his career to date against a multi-time New Zealand heavyweight champion in the country, James Shaw. And again, like I say, I'm not disappointed. Ryder probably needed the rub more than James needed the rub in every aspect here. So I think that it's a great thing that Ryder came out on top. And I do believe that James will bounce back and will irritate the shit out of people by the very next show.
Oh, very much so. And this is one of the main stories that I've been interested in SPW. Again, since we started watching, the Divine Light has been one of the main factions in SPW. And now you're going to have to help me here, Munson. I should know this, but what show was it when Ryder first turned on the Divine Light and turned on James Shaw? Was it the Rumble of this past year? It was a couple of shows ago.
Mm-hmm.
No worries if you don't remember the name. I should know this too, but at any rate, this is one of the loose ends I wanted tied up. I wanted to see James Shaw versus Ryder one-on-one, because I think everyone wanted to see this match, because Ryder, like you say, he wasn't a main player in SPW until he made that turn to babyface and started becoming the darling of the fans. And wow, what a transformation that was. He's such a more effective babyface than he was as a heel, and the fans have really, really taken to him. So I have been craving to see this one-on-one match against Shaw versus Ryder. Now, finally, we get it. They've met in the ring a couple of times under diluted circumstances, but I wanted to see this one-on-one. I wanted to see, is James Shaw going to get his revenge, or is Ryder going to show that he can rise above the former company that he was keeping and get that win off James Shaw? Like you said, this started out with Shaw looking so dominant. Man, doesn't he look good, Munson? Again, even since we've been watching and getting to know James Shaw, those gym sessions in the early mornings that he's been doing, he looks big. He looks strong. Those legs are tree trunks now. And he was tossing Ryder around, absolutely having his way with him, absolutely ragdolling him throughout this match. Shaw, a very, very good wrestler, too. All those moves were high impact. All those moves were very, very well executed. And like you, I felt like, man, is this going to be Ryder getting his nose rubbed in the mat and taking a hard loss, and he's going to have to battle back from this? Or is he going to, during this match, is he going to be able to get the upper hand on James Shaw? We saw what happened. Palmer came out. There was distractions. There was all kinds of interference. There was also some funny audio during this match, too. At one point, Ryder was cracking up the fans. I rewound it several times. I couldn't hear what he said. He said something to the effect that James Shaw's only special move is with his girlfriend. It was something to that effect, and the fans cracked right up, which only gets them more behind Ryder and more laughing at James Shaw. When Palmer comes out, he's calling James Shaw a dick. And now the fans, they love that, so it's just dick, dick, dick. The chanting. They were fully on board for this match. They were fully behind Ryder. And of course, they got what they wanted, a big babyface win. It doesn't make James Shaw look any weaker because he had an awesome match. The fans know he's among the top wrestlers in the entire country of New Zealand. So a win-win situation again here for SPW. They get one of their veteran wrestlers still looking strong in this match, but they elevate Ryder to a bigger stature in their company, a guy that the fans could believe could maybe make a run towards the main event and maybe get in that title picture someday.
You bet, yeah. No, this was great in every aspect. Ryder, like again, getting him up that ladder, big victory. Like you said, James looked great throughout this thing. He is a great wrestler, and he has been working hard at the gym. He's putting in double time there, Pop Smokes. I see it all over Insta. He's proud of it, man. He's proud of the work he's putting in, and he should be proud of that work, man. It shows he's got that new ring attire and everything like that. Like he looks like a scary individual when it comes to his wrestling. And man, the dude can talk. Like, man, he's got charisma for days. At the same time, we know that even from hanging out with him after we've done live shows and stuff like that. He's great to talk to. I mean, he has you cracking up the whole time. He can tell stories. This guy, he's the total package when it comes to what I like about professional wrestling.
Yeah, you said it, Munson, and that's a guy that's been humping the road for a long time, up and down New Zealand, over to Australia. He's done it all. And he was the guy that told us about how long some of those drives are in between shows in New Zealand. This is what started getting me interested in New Zealand as a country as well. There's a 10-hour drive in New Zealand. I had no idea it was that big. Of course, there are little few straight lines to drive in New Zealand. It's very mountainous there, but just so interesting to learn about the country, to learn about the wrestling business, how similar it is to business up here in Canada, but just with those little differences. They are on the opposite side of the world from us, so some things are different, but so awesome to have a friend there in James Shaw, and so awesome to be able to review his matches and watch his matches. Really one of the big wigs in New Zealand wrestling.
You bet, yeah. And again, would love to make my way over to New Zealand one of these days. I keep telling the wife that's my retirement plan. I would love to retire and move to New Zealand. That would be ultimate to that thing for me, kind of thing. I think it's a beautiful country, and I think I would really enjoy living there, and I think the wife would too. So ultimately, would love to retire in New Zealand one day.
Get a little ranch with a few sheep there, Munson. You can learn how to shear them down and sell that wool. You'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
And yet we'll still won't miss a Thursday, although for me it'll be Friday afternoons by that time. But we'll never miss out being on Ring Respect Radio that entire time. Doesn't matter how damn old we get. But moving on, Papa Smokes, we've got this match to talk about, and it is our main event of the evening. And no, we can't do one fall on this one because this one quite different. I mean, kind of one fall, but I wasn't too sure going into it, and I'll explain why. So this is the Halloween Haunting Lockdown matchup. So this thing kind of constructed like a single ring version, almost like something between Hell in the Cell and War Games that they've got kind of set up here. I thought it was cool that they had the heavy chains across the top that were holding the cage inwards towards the center of the ring, because we know what it's like to set those rings, those cages up in a small venue and stuff like that. It can get a little bit scary. So we see this whole setup, and I'm like, okay, I like it. They've not got a lot of room, but that cage is pressed firmly right up against where the fans kind of sit, sort of thing. That is the only thing dividing the fans between them and the chaos going on inside of this cage. We've got Team SPW and Team Black Light District. Now, when you're talking about storylines in SPW, this is the other one that's been going on for a while. And we know that there's been multiple people who have had issues with the Black Light District, led by J.K. Moody, Ozza. Damn it, I'm blanking on the other two guys' names right now, Pop Smokes. I hope you brought notes with you. It's
Beams and Sabur.
There we go. Beams and support. My apologies, gentlemen, if you are watching the show, because I should have made notes, but I'm glad Papa Smokes did. Beams and support, yes. And on the side of SPW, we had the champion, Cool Guy Sky, K9, Liam Fury, and I'm going to once again kick myself here for the next name that I'm blanking on.
Jacko.
Jacko, Jesus Christ. How could I forget your boy Jacko there, Papa Smokes?
Of course.
Yeah, so again, you had another story within, like, we've seen since we started this whole thing. There was the original split of the Spoko Express, Jacko and Ozza there, and that was a result of the BLD. We know the BLD attacked Cool Guy Sky, the champion, on occasions. In fact, JK Moody coming very close to winning the championship at one time from Cool Guy Sky during this whole thing. And again, you know, K9's personal beef with Moody in the Blacklight District that's been going on for a while. I believe Liam Fury, there's a little story there. There's not as much story that connects with the rest of the stuff going on. But of course, Liam Fury, great wrestler. You want to put him in that type of event. And after they unfortunately lost what was supposed to be the championship match of Marcus Cool versus Cool Guy Sky due to an injury by Marcus Cool, and I hope he recovers and gets to come back. You needed some top names there. And again, you need a Liam Fury in this mix because he is a top name in SPW and in New Zealand wrestling, and he was going to be able to put on a show, and a show he put on along with all these guys, man. The weird part was commentary had me believing at first it was almost like an eliminator match, because at times when our first two competitors were in there, they're like, oh, he's looking to finish him off quickly. And it was like a comment like that made me think, oh, can they pin ahead of time? Like the idea is almost war games, like where it's like every 5 minutes, one of the other wrestlers comes down, one team has an advantage. So that's your war games comparison. But then I thought, is it kind of like, are they changing the rules a bit to single elimination? But no, that wasn't the case. You actually had to win on behalf of your team. And I'm assuming that you had to have all members in before the pin. So the match beyond the lockdown starts once the final man gets in there.
Yeah, I think that was on the screen when they showed the rules there, is that it is kind of like War Games. The match doesn't really officially start until all 8 men are in the ring, and then they lock the cage. The cage is locked down.
Yeah. And I think it was just I saw that, so I had my thoughts of how this was going, and then all of a sudden when commentary is like, oh, he's looking to finish him off early, and I was like, wait a second. Did I miss something? Like, I honestly thought I had missed something for a second there, because I thought like, oh, can we end this right now? Like I had no idea, but yeah, you're right. It was up there initially. It just kind of I think that choice of words it's not the fault of commentary. You know what it becomes is just force of habit, right? Like even as commentators ourselves, it's kind of that situation where you're kind of like, oh, he's looking to end him now, right? Because you're so used to it being a situation where it is one fall to a finish.
Yeah, you and I know all about that. When you call a certain amount of matches, it's some of them start to bleed together a little bit, even though every match is different. Some habits get formed, and when you see someone, hit a big move early in a match, you think, oh, they're going to finish it off. But in this case, no harm, no foul. This was good, and you kind of brought it up already, the way that the lockdown cage was set up. I don't think I've seen a setup quite like this, and I really liked it, is that the cage, like you said, pushed right up against the crowd barrier, so that the action at the cage edges or along the walls of the cage is right on the other side of those fans in the front row. Makes for a very cool experience, and there were a number of parts in this match where there was one in particular where a couple of the heels Irish whipped Cool Guy Sky, sent him flinging into the cage. And oh yeah, it made a nice impact. It bumped against the crowd barrier, and the fans in the front row like, woo, got a little thrill there. You weren't sure, you're not sure if it's going to hold, or not sure if someone's going to fling through it. It kind of gave like that extra bit of excitement for those people, especially those awesome souls that came and just bought the front row tickets, because that's what they wanted. They want to get up close to it. They want to hear all the action. They want to see it up close. And, oh, they got a nice close look at it on this one.
And if I was to venture a guess, I'm going to guess that they're either very good regulars that the company has become familiar with, or they're connected to one of the wrestlers, like family or friends of one of the wrestlers, where they're not fully in on it, but they're in on it enough that they're not going to be the ones to complain if all of a sudden one of the wrestlers accidentally came crashing through a little bit and landed in their lap or something. Like most wrestling companies and wrestlers are smart enough to pick out, like, oh yeah, it's that crew, they're here every time, no problem. If something goes a little awry, we're not going to have a problem with that crew, kind of thing. So let's do our spot over that way.
No, for sure. And I bet you that's all part of, they talk about ring awareness or ring generalship. That's knowing where you are at all times, knowing your surroundings perfectly, and knowing where everything is that you might need throughout a match, and being able to exploit that.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, I mean, I like this, folks. Again, this made sense, right? If you're going to do a gimmick match, we always say, make it make sense. There be a reason why we're having this gimmick match. And there is a great reason. The BLD's been running amok for a long period of time on SPW. Numbers game, conquering, holding belts. Like, they had the heavyweight championship as well as the tag team championships for a good period of time there. And, things needed to be put into this situation where there was no escape. There's no running away. This was going to end in an absolute brutal fight. And a brutal fight it was. Team SPW coming out with the victory, which I kind of felt that was the way the story was going. I felt that this was the payoff. This was SPW getting its heat back and finally conquering the bad BLD. And then that's when the interesting part of it all happens, Papa's folks. It's something I've been saying I thought was coming for a long, long ass time. And that is that Ozza, Beams, and Sabor turn on J.K. Moody and leave him laying out flat in the middle of the damn ring. So the Blacklight District themselves, in a sense, lives on, but they live on without their original member, the creator of it, J.K. Moody. And if you're going to have a faction turn on someone, what a way to do it. Have it get all the way escalated to this type of match, and when he couldn't carry you to the finish line, you blame the guy that started it all. You turn on him. Again, it's going to be easy for the fans to start liking J.K. Moody again because he's a great wrestler. He's been around for a long time. They'll click. He'll have his inevitable reunion with K9 at some point in time. It's all going to work out well. Plus, what do we get in the process? We're going to get that Ozza J.K. Moody match down the road here.
For sure. And yeah, I just like you could kind of see that at some point the Blacklight District was going to have to take a fall, right? They've been a faction for a long time now. Ever since we've been watching this now for over a year, they've been the main faction in SPW, a heel faction as well. And there isn't usually a babyface faction, but there was no united group really to stand up against them. Hence this war game style match, the lockdown. So SPW had to have its main guys get together as a force to battle the Blacklight District, to maybe stomp out this poison that's in SPW. I also knew that at some point J.K. Moody would be done with the BLD. I kind of predicted him, or just thought in my own mind, that he might be the one to decide that he's not in that faction anymore. But he did not get the chance to decide his own fate, because after he ate that pin, now let's remember, he was the one of the first two in this match, so he had wrestled 45 minutes at this point.
It's long. Yeah, it's a long match.
Oh yeah, he took some big bumps during that too. So Moody ends up getting pinned. That's a little surprising. Moody usually gets himself out of those situations, but he eats the pin. The rest of the faction says, yeah, this is the moment. This is the time where we're done with you. We're making this decision for the future of Blacklight District. And just like that, just as so many turns have been done, a surprise super kick to the jaw, and they're on him like a pack of wild dogs, much to the fans' surprise. I was surprised. I didn't really think the turn was going to happen in this show, But why waste time? It's done now. And who and yeah, what does this mean for the faction going forward? Are the other guys going to stay under the banner of the BLD? Will they switch to something else? What is in the future for J.K. Moody now? Will he become a hero to the fans instead of the vile villain that he's been for the past few years? A guy with that kind of charisma and that kind of wrestling skill will have no problem being a popular babyface. But will he choose to do so? Only time will tell, of course.
Of course, yeah. Can't wait to find out these answers. That was the best part about this. While wrapping up other storylines throughout this night, SPW's gone and done it again. They've started to create the next version of these storylines or the next spawns from these storylines. The only thing we don't really have a clear picture of is where the championship will go, because again, we had that halt because the hooligan getting injured, so the match between him and Cool Guy Sky didn't happen. However, if he's back in time for the next program, does SPW go that route? Hey, he earned it. He's back now. Go that route, and you've got that match still on the card, because you don't have any definitive direction otherwise for where Cool Guy Sky's title run's going just yet. Or they do, and we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we don't know it yet. We can't know it yet. But talking about Marcus Cool, the hooligan, we've watched him over the past year and a half or so as a very popular and top of the card babyface. But now, if he's going after Cool Guy Sky, we're going to see a different side to the hooligan. We've already had some glimpses of it as well, and he's one of those guys that has the kind of sauce that can work on either side of it, babyface or heel. And Cool Guy Sky better watch out, because if he's got the hooligan on his ass, he might be in big trouble.
It's going to be interesting once it all unfolds. I can't wait for the next SPW show. This one gets a huge thumbs up. A lot of love to SPW on this.
Oh, yeah.
Love it as always. Production great, commentary great, matches great. Love my friends over in New Zealand every single time, and thank you for continuing to put out the content on YouTube for free. Anybody who hasn't done so already, make sure to go over to SPW NZ on demand over on YouTube, where you can go ahead and subscribe to their channel and enjoy the free content that they are bringing to you, wrestling fans around the globe. Final thoughts on the card itself, Papa Smokes.
An awesome card, and like you said, finishing up some storylines and then advancing some other ones. Always looking forward to that next show all the time. The fans in Invercargill got a real treat tonight, especially with that violent main event. But SPW always delivers. I love this company. For me, they encapsulate like what's great about indie companies. They're not too big and they're not too small. They've got a whole bunch of talent, and they use that talent in a very wise manner. Their booking is good, their production is good, their commentary is good, and then as you see by the fans' reaction at all these shows, they can't get enough of that wrestling action. So wrestling at the edge of the world, going strong in New Zealand, and this is one of my favorite companies that we review by a long shot, and I always look forward to SPW cards. Can't wait for the next one.
You bet, yeah. And now, speaking on what's coming up for Ring Respect Radio, I know we originally mentioned that, I don't know if we've mentioned what's coming up yet for a while, so maybe we should give people a heads up. I haven't mentioned this one to you, Pop Smokes, but we might have rearranged a plan, because I know you and I talked behind the scenes about covering Winnipeg Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Birch, or Rumble in the Birch there. I think we might hold off one additional week on that one, because I had a conversation with Oled after we did Taking Over on Tuesday, and he really wants to get back to doing a chaotic review with us, and they have a show coming up this Friday. Will be available. So I was thinking we cover that this coming Thursday, because the following Thursday after that is actually Thanksgiving for our friends in America. So I figured that while they're enjoying Thanksgiving in America, we can deliver the Canadian content that night, and that's when we could cover our friends in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. So Chaotic Wrestling next Thursday, and Winnipeg Pro Wrestling the Thursday after that. How's that sound to you?
Sounds great. And I talk about SPW being one of my favorite companies. Here's a couple more that we cover. Some Canadian content, some good old Winnipeg wrestling, and then Chaotic, one of the top indie companies in the world, I guess you could probably say. Definitely one of the top and biggest and most prestigious companies to work for on the indie scene in the States out of the Boston area. So we haven't checked in on them in a little bit. So let's do that because they have a, a vibrant little promotion going on there with some ties to some bigger companies and all that. Always exciting. And we got to see what my namesake Ricky Smokes is up to these days in Chaotic.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll watch that show. We'll bring that review along with OLED next Thursday. And then again, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling the Thursday after that. Catch all your indie action here on Ring Respect Radio and on Taking Over. They cover in a lot of the companies we don't cover there on Taking Over. It's been great. A lot of love from the indie scene across the board here on our local establishment between our show as well as Taking Over. It's great because the wrestlers engage more, the companies engage more, and it's just a better experience for everybody in general. But we are getting to the top of the hour, Pop Smokes, and I want to give us time to say our goodbyes. So how about I put that beautiful, expensive ticker up on the screen, and you can let the people know where they can reach out to good old Papa Smokes.
All right, Papa Smokes can always be found with Bobby Money Munson every Thursday night on OLE Podcasts and the Video Bros Network for Ring Respect Radio, the very podcast you're watching right now. I can also be found on Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X. I'm at Smokes_Papa. Also on Twitch, but apparently very difficult to find, at Papa_Smokes_. Give it a try. I don't have many followers. I can use all I can get.
You bet. I did follow you on there a long time ago, Papa Smoke, so hopefully it still exists. But as for myself, Bobby Munson, that's my ticker down below. Where you can find me, of course, you can find me this Sunday. It's Point of View, 11 a.m. Eastern time, where we're talking about the world of sports. We're going to be having a whole lot to cover, including a little bit of a talk about just how badly the Saskatchewan Roughriders are probably going to get stomped on Sunday because they love to have the people of Saskatchewan get their dreams shattered. So we will talk all about shattered dreams in Saskatchewan here this coming Sunday on Point of View. You can also catch myself, Bob Spokes, as part of your commentary team every single Saturday at Prairie Pro Wrestling. Check out a new match for Prairie Pro Wrestling, including this coming Saturday, where it will be Marvelous Morris Waltz taking on Chad Money Mills. And as Papa Spokes dips out just for a second, that good old Saskatoon internet getting the best of him. The Mangler saying thank you, gentlemen, as always. Hoping to snag some tickets to Season Beatings tomorrow before they're sold out. Yes, Mangler, definitely get your tickets to Season's Beatings. You know the drill. Send the message over on the Instagram. Then I send the message back with the details. You send in the good old money, and then Bobby works on making QR codes, and I will sit you in some good old primo seats. That's what I can do, because I get to be in charge of that kind of shit, and it's kind of fun. But you can also catch a lot of great shows outside of this one and the shows I mentioned here on OLE Podcast. Check us out on all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch. We appreciate it if you go ahead and give this channel a subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitch. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment section in the comment section below. What was your favorite match from Halloween Haunting or from any SPW event? And what other indie companies out there do we not cover that Papa Smokes and I might need to take a look at? Let us know. We will check it out. We appreciate every single one of you. Until next Thursday, take care, everybody.